Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. What's happening with GameStop, you gotta admit, sure does seem like is something resulting from a rigged system, doesn't it? Look, I'm not saying that everything within the world of finance is rigged. Some people, they go a little bit up into la la land with the conspiracy theory stuff, but here's a real world example where you can see what is unfolding, and nobody's even trying to be sneaky about it. You know, here you have Robinhood stopping the trading of GameStop and a few others, I think AMC and a couple others, and it's, think about this, it's to the benefit of the hedge funds. So the hedge funds literally getting bailed out, and then figuratively getting bailed out by Robinhood halting the trading. You know, like what about all the little people that screws? You know, what about that? Or where's their bailout? I don't like any of this here. Now, Ripple partner Bittrex has spotted this opportunity and taken action. Bittrex, of course, is a cryptocurrency exchange headquartered in the United States. So take a look at this headline from Business Wire. Bittrex Global, although actually the global one, so there actually are two different Bittrexes. So this one is this is the one that's outside the United States. Actually, I just forgot. Bittrex Global to launch all stocks delisted from Robinhood. So how about that? Seeing an opportunity here. But I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that's going on here. Like, look at this headline from the New York Post. Steve Cohen and Dave Portnoy feud over GameStop on Twitter. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Dave Portnoy with Barstool, and then you've got Steve Cohen with a mega hedge fund who claims innocence, and Dave Portnoy says this is nonsense, and that he literally tagged the guy on Twitter and said, go to prison, basically. Like, he should be in prison. So I'll show you the specifics. And then you've got this. Look at this headline. Yellen received $800,000 from hedge fund in GameStop controversy. White House doesn't commit to recusal. How about that? So look at that. This is newly confirmed Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen receiving almost $1 million in speaking fees from the hedge fund that bailed out on one of the primary losers in the recent GameStop frenzy. And so not going to recuse herself, going to continue to have impact on this. Does that sound reasonable? And I'm not saying this to get political. I don't care if it's left or right on the political side of the things. Like, that doesn't look good. The optics are terrible. And in actuality, it seems rather terrible. So let's start with this piece here. There you go. Bittrex Global announced that it has listed tokenized stocks for GameStop and AMC Entertainment, as well as Nokia, BlackBerry, and iShares Silver Trust. Bittrex Global will continue to list additional stocks as other firms announce a delisting from their platforms. Oh, and by the way, I got an update for you, too, on what has happened since my last video where we were talking about the GameStop and Dogecoin stuff. I meant to say this right at the outset. What has happened with Dogecoin has gotten nuts, and there's an indication that money has been flowing out of Dogecoin and into XRP, actually increasing certainly volume and price, actually. But I'll talk more about that a little bit later in the video, and there's an indication that there may be some serious fireworks sooner than later. But anyway, continuing on with this piece. This decision is motivated to ensure retail investors have exposure to stocks they may wish to trade anytime during any day of the week. Bittrex Global aims to harness the power of distributed ledger technology to enable greater financial inclusion, instant settlement of trades, and lower trading fees. We intend to list every stock that gets delisted from platforms like Robinhood, so that even small investors have the same opportunities afforded to multi-billion-dollar financial institutions. The current situation feeds into the narrative that the financial system is rigged against the little guy. We believe blockchain, decentralization, and cryptocurrencies will finally put retail investors on a more equal footing with financial institutions who have been gaming the markets for decades, said Bittrex Global CEO Tom Albright. And by the way, I mentioned this in my last video, but it needs to be said. When the trading was halted of GameStop on Robinhood, and by the way, it was also halted on Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade. But when it stopped on Robinhood, I know for sure Robinhood continued to allow the hedge funds to participate. It was just the little guy that lost access to purchasing GameStop stock. So this is interesting. So then they wrap up by stating here, Bittrex Global's tokenized stock offerings allow users from around the world to trade 24/7 and to buy fractionalized shares if they do not have the resources to buy whole shares. And this is the direction things are going to go anyway. You know, this idea of having limited hours of the day where you can trade stocks, it's kind of archaic, isn't it? Doesn't it sound like a little bit old-timey? You can tokenize all of these assets and you don't need to have all these time frames. You know, crypto asset class is proof that things can go along just fine. You're trading 24/7, 365. Just saying. Now to this piece from the New York Post. Steve Cohen and Dave Portnoy feud over GameStop on Twitter. A real-life rumble over GameStop between Wall Street and Main Street broke out Thursday between hedge fund billionaire Steve Cohen and day trading poster boy Dave Portnoy. The back and forth kicked off when Portnoy, founder of blogging site Barstool Sports, blasted Cohen, the billionaire owner of the Mets, for restrictions on trading apps like Robinhood that have hurt novice investors behind the spectacular rally in small stocks like GameStop. Prison time, Portnoy said in a tweet that linked to Cohen, founder of Point72 Capital, as well as Citadel, a hedge fund run by billionaire Ken Griffin. Dems and Republicans haven't agreed on one issue till this. That's how blatant, illegal, unfathomable today's events are. It also shows how untouchable Robinhood, Steve Cohen, Citadel, Point72 all think they are. Fines aren't enough, prison or bust. And I'll share with you, although I believe that there's some shady stuff going on here, and I really articulated, I think, pretty sufficiently in my last video, so I don't want to rehash all of it. My last video where I talked about this topic anyway. I think this might be taking it a step too far because, frankly, as far as this individual's, at least with Steve Cohen, just him specifically, to this point, I'm not seeing evidence that he specifically, individually, did anything wrong. Now, could he have? Sure, maybe. And if so, there should be some ramifications. And if so, there should be evidence out there somewhere. But I don't know. And so, like, for me, see, this is the way that I just approach life. It's different than many people. Like, for me, I try to keep the emotion out of it. And then what the way I approach everything in life is I want to hear both sides of an argument so that I can form my own decision. And it's not going to be based on emotion. So all of this is upsetting. I got all of that, and so most people they'll say flamboyant things like this, and that's just not the world in which I live. And I understand why people do. It's just emotions run high and this or that, and it's easy to get people riled. You got the rabble, pitchforks out and everything. But I think that's, at this point, taking things a little bit too far. I just want to be grounded in reality here. So if he certainly did something wrong, that's a problem. And especially with all the timing, the way bailouts have worked, the actions of Robinhood, it just stinks to high heaven. So like, I'm not denying that. And I haven't seen anybody put out any sort of reasonable explanation in defense of Robinhood. Even their own explanation of why they did it, it was just this vague thing where like it was like to protect customers, this and that. I'm like, protect them how? Like, in what world is this protecting them? Especially when you allow the hedge funds to continue purchasing. Like, what in the world is going on here? So I'm with the majority in the sense that I think that something in a general sense is terribly wrong here. Just as far as, putting specific claims on individuals without evidence, that's where I'm saying, okay, maybe calm down a little bit, going a little bit too far. So Cohen snapped back and said, "Hey, Dave, what's your beef with me? I'm just trying to make a living just like you. Happy to take this offline." To which Dave responded, "I don't do offline. That's where shady S-word happens." He then accused Cohen of having a hand in controversial restrictions on trading apps like Robinhood that are hurting novice investors behind the spectacular rally in small stocks like GameStop. Hedge funds have lost billions in the rally by shorting these stocks, including Cohen's Point72, which is down more than 10%. "I think you had strong hand in today's criminal events to save hedge funds at the cost of ordinary people. Do you unequivocally deny that?" Portnoy said. And so again, right there, that's a strong claim with, to this point, no evidence. You can see a correlation in timing of things, fine, but it doesn't mean that there's some sort of causation. And so that's like, for me, I just behave differently in life. I would not make such a claim unless I could back it, but lots of people don't go that way. Anyway, piece continues. He cited as evidence Cohen's recent effort to bail out fellow hedge fund Melvin Capital Management from losses suffered by betting against stocks like GameStop, known as shorting. Yeah, but that's not really evidence. And that's where I'm not saying that doesn't matter. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to communicate here. I'm saying there's some shady stuff. It does not pass the smell test. But I'm saying as far as calling out a specific individual without evidence, that's where I'm drawing the line. That's for me specifically. But yeah, this needs to be investigated. I don't think anybody's going to disagree there, right? So Cohen's .72 asset management together with Griffin's Citadel invested a combined $2.75 billion into Melvin, run by Cohen's former protege Jay Plotkin. Citadel also executes trade orders on behalf of Robinhood. And this is important. Don't forget that, because in the next article we're gonna talk about that. And here's a quote: "You bailed out Melvin because he's your boy along with Citadel," he retorted. Cohen defended himself, saying, "What are you talking about? I unequivocally deny that accusation. I had zero to do with what happened today." Portnoy continued. "Then in your professional opinion," he wrote option, I think it means opinion, "why was trading halted on AMC, GameStop, yada, yada, yada? I'd be curious." To which Cohen responded, "Good question. Those questions should be directed at Robinhood, etc. I'm a trader just like you are. That seems like a broken sentence. When you find out, give me a holler." And to which there's a response. I do think... Oh, that's the same thing. "I do think the brokers should make a statement. Seems reasonable." So that would have been Cohen stating that. Yeah, so pretty crazy stuff here. And again, with me, like being the furthest thing from a conspiracy theorist, when I'm starting to look at this stuff and saying, hey, this doesn't pass the smell test, like if I'm saying that, like, please somebody look at it. And actually, thankfully, the SEC is looking into this stuff. But take a look at this headline from Fox News. Yellen received $800,000 from hedge fund and GameStop controversy. White House doesn't commit to recusal. See, this all sounds messed up. Look, newly confirmed Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen received around $810,000 in speaking fees from the hedge fund that bailed out the primary losers in the recent GameStop frenzy. You don't say. Everybody knows everybody at the top. Yellen's financial disclosure shows her making $337,500 for multiple days in October 2020 from Citadel. Man, like, were her words like sprinkled with magical pixie dust? What makes them worth $337,000? I mean, look, I love the free market. Of course, people should be able to do that, but it's hilarious to me. Like, obviously, there's other incentives that make the words worth that, right? Scratching each other's backs. I'm not naive. Anyway, she similarly banked $292,500 in October of 2019 and $180,000 in December of that year. The Senate confirmed Yellen on Monday, making her the first female secretary of the department. She previously chaired the Federal Reserve after an appointment by former President Obama. Both Citadel and .72 infused almost $3 billion into Melvin Capital, which saw massive losses after betting against the video game retailer GameStop. The White House said on Wednesday that Yellen was monitoring the situation. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, was asked Thursday during the daily briefing whether Yellen would recuse herself from advising the president on GameStop, and Jen said or did not commit one way or another. Yeah. Maybe it's a bad idea to have her having anything to do. Like, the optics of this are obviously terrible. Just saying. Just think about it. Here's a tweet that my fellow XRP YouTuber Kevin Cage retweeted. Look at the screen grab. It is hilarious. I literally LOL. I was laughing out loud when I read this. It's from some guy named Bazaar Lazar, and he wrote, "Just give the hedge funds a $600 check. They'll be fine." Obviously a reference to in the United States. I guess it'd probably be fair to say the strong majority of United States citizens receiving initially a $600 check after the pandemic hit. Oh yeah, you're fine. Just put a little band-aid on it. I just got a kick out of that. Here's a tweet from Anthony Pompliano. Politicians want regulators to determine fair market value of companies. This is a horrible idea. Oh, yes, it is. And so what's he talking about? Well, there's this tweet from Walter Bloomberg. He's talking about what Elizabeth Warren put out. Basically, Warren to SEC, take steps to ensure prices reflect fundamentals. So she seems to not. And here's the actual tweet. I'll read it in a sec. But basically, what she's getting at, and she put out a PDF. I downloaded it from her official website and read the damn thing. She basically doesn't want free markets to be able to determine price. She wants government regulators to come in and determine what the range would be for trading effectively, and it would be based on fundamentals, which is interesting because markets don't really have as much to do with fundamentals as you might think. There are a few people that get fundamentals, and that helps to position where how much money flows in and out. I got all that, but it's it's a lot of emotional buying and selling on the behalf of people. And I don't see how government coming in and artificially propping up a price of anything or preventing it artificially preventing a price from going up on any stock. I don't see how that serves free markets. So if you're somebody that's not free markets, maybe something like this makes sense. But here's what she wrote: casino-like swings in stock prices of GameStop reflect wild levels of speculation that don't help GameStop's workers or customers and could lead to market instability. Today, I told the SEC to explain what exactly it's doing to prevent market manipulation. Yeah, except for here's the thing. As far as it affecting workers or customers, look, the business infrastructure of GameStop hasn't changed as a result of any of the wild price swings. And so, even if the stock crashed back down to where it was before all of this nonsense started, like that would just put him at parity. And so if anybody makes some money along the wild ride up, and just to take away people's essential like, you call it like it's not literally this, but like a voting right, voting with your dollars. That's because that's what they're doing when you're investing in something or purchasing a product. You're voting with your dollars if you value it. Like, to take that away, it just seems like a tremendous overstep. And so I hopefully nothing like that happens. That just doesn't sound like America at that point. But here's a tweet from my fellow XRP YouTuber Blockchain Backer. He wrote, "I've always said $10 to $13 for XRP. It's the 4.236 fib extension." And he's pointing out here that Dogecoin hit that. Dogecoin has been ridiculous. Hell, let's just pull up the price on it right now. Take a look at this. It's currently at 4.5 cents, but it got up to 24-hour high, all-time high, coincidentally, 7.8 cents. Its all-time high during the last market cycle was 1.5 cents. Holy freaking hell. Talk about parabolic. This is just, here's look at that thing rocket up. And it's obviously retraced a bit since then, but my gosh, what a rocket. That's a crypto chart if I've ever seen one. Then there was this tweet from Credible Crypto: "Keep selling XRP, keep shorting it. You will get squeezed into oblivion like a Wall Street hedge fund sooner or later. We will meme this pump into existence if we need to." And so he's still of the mindset that XRP sooner than later will be going to 46 cents. And there's all sorts of indications that we are going to be seeing some positive price action sooner than later. And to be clear, I am not offering financial advice. I don't buy or sell because of anything I say or read. I'm just sharing with you various opinions, including mine, but I don't have a financial background, just to be clear. And here's a tweet from DIY Investing. "I spent years telling my friends to buy crypto. 2016, I told everyone to buy Bitcoin at $450. Fast forward, and Bitcoin is worth $40,000. Last night, I got hit up by so many people I know that bought the top of Doge." Think about that. How many of these people bought in at 7.8 cents and they thought this was a good thing? Like, I'm telling you guys, it's more evidence. People chase green candles, and in my opinion, it's a horrible idea, and I just will not ever do that in my entire life. I will not do that. It is a stupid idea. It's how you get wrecked. And so DIY Investing wrote, "Retail is here, and they're dumb as ever." Laughing my effing A word off. So, LMFAO. True words, my friends. And then this was hilarious, too. I just came across this in my feed. Doge value / news. And so it's apparently this individual, I clicked on the page, briefly looked at it. Apparently this used to be a developer for Dogecoin building on top of the Dogecoin blockchain, and then stopped tweeting entirely in 2014, stopped building on top of Doge. So you're talking like almost 7 years ago at this point, 6.5, whatever. And so this account, though, check this out. This account put out a tweet and wrote, "Tweeting for the first time in 6 years to say, what the F word." And I am censoring it because there could be children in the background, but I just got a kick out of that. So it took Dogecoin going to like 7.8 cents for this account to like revive itself. I just thought it was kind of funny. And take a look here, and there's a shout out to Frecky here, who I just came across this, but you can see here, this is XRP. And you can see like the volume, like, so even if you're talking about, you know, consolidation, trading sideways, the volume for XRP is increasing, which is typically a sign of an impending breakout. I know I'm not a chart guy, but you know, I won't be surprised at all to see a breakout of XRP. And we already know that the money, that a lot of the money that was in this whole GameStop thing flowed into Dogecoin. There is evidence that as money started exiting Dogecoin, it went into XRP because XRP started pumping up in price at that exact moment, while the rest of the market, at that point in time anyway, more or less stayed flat. So it's been rather interesting here, to say the least. But I think a lot of, like I'm telling you, the way markets are cyclical, we are going to see some fireworks sooner than later, and I could not be more bullish for XRP. But I will wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.